back to Nain Shorts, and this is a. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. He just showed up. I thought he was going to be late, so I decided to do the show without him.
The hell?
I'm not firing you. You were late. I just wanted to help the show along.
Just go.
I'm going.
Just go. Anywho, welcome back to Nain Shorts. Thank you for joining us once again on this wonderful Wednesday. We're back at Physique Magnifique, 287 Grand Avenue in South San Francisco. Stop on by, check us out. Come play with us if you have nothing else to do. We're usually here. And if you give us a heads up, we'll definitely be here. But as you saw, Rick came in here and took over my spot because, well, he's getting jealous that he doesn't have his own show. But beyond that, let's get back to what we were here to do, and let's talk about our training. Well, more importantly, the reason why we train, specifically the purpose behind our training. Now, we all have a reason that we started what we're doing, where we're at, and got us as far as we are now. But a good friend of us has told us that, yeah, everyone's purpose starts off one way, but the reason why we stay changes. Now, what does that have to do with training? Well, the idea of purpose, again, in the bladed mind, all these concepts become tools, teaching tools, ways that we can combine them, present them differently, so each student can individually attain the usage of all the skill sets that they've been learning up until whatever point their lessons are, wherever they are in their personal growth. All the ideas from the levels of understanding to the anatomy of a strike, to even the points of contact from A to B. B always changing, A, U, and all the ways that you can cross that divide, that distance between you and your target, between A and B, and whatever that may be. And again, go back to those videos and refresh some of the ideas that we've been talking about, because now I want to talk in reference to how do you then use those concepts to get a student to acquire a skill set, or more importantly, an understanding, so they can do the things that we talk about, the ideas that the bladed mind is based off of, the commandments, as Danny would call them, that guide what we do, from not just the psychological side of things or the theoretical side of things, but the actual practical use of ideas, and how those ideas and our interpretations of them really shine in our movements. How do they change? How do they make us grow? How do, with giving purpose to any one particular exercises, do we get more out of the students? Recently, in the classes with some of our students, that has been the major topic. What is the purpose of this angle 1? What is the purpose of this angle 11? And are you focused on what you're trying to accomplish, or are you focused on trying to make the movement look pretty, or refine the movement without really understanding what you're going to use it for? Recently, one of our students, for a long time, has been working with us, and we like to move freely. We like to flow. We want to, without any choreography, hit, defend, hit again, move in and out of any situation. And you've seen Rick and I play, and as we always say, it's not choreographed. How do we get our students to get to that point? Well, we've been with them long enough to build certain skill sets and implant ideas and concepts. But when you then go back to its most basic form, what is the reason for you doing this movement? Why are you striking that way? What are you trying to accomplish? It could be as simple as hit your opponent's face. Your angle 1 and 11 is done at close range, as we've said before, because when I drop here, and I'll turn to the side, This is our basic 1. At this range, this is where my target should be. This is close range. It has to be close range. I'm not extending out. I'm not reaching. Which means that if I'm doing this correct, even though there's nobody in front of me, I'm doing this at a specific range to hit my opponent at close, right in front of me, where I can use either weapon. Because again, that is a concept that we have given our students. You always want to have all your weapons available. If you need to enter from a longer distance, well then you use the same movements, but now you extend the range a little bit until you get to close range, which then requires you to start using footwork. The movements, we all do the triangle footwork, female, male, reverse, whatever you want to call it, but at the end of the day, it's just a step. Its purpose isn't necessarily to move in a triangle whenever you're fighting, because nobody does. The purpose is to understand, at first, balance, then speed, then being able to switch your feet and regain your center when somebody's rushing at you or when you have to rush into somebody. Those are the purposes of those exercises, but ultimately, they are tools that you're going to use to accomplish a task, to accomplish a goal. And like I said, if the very first goal is to hit somebody's face, well, then you need to be in the proper range to do so. And if you understand the lessons before then and focus solely on what you're trying to accomplish, do you really need to remember left foot, right foot? Do you really need to remember all the details that go in it? Or do you allow your body to do the things that it has already trained to do so you can get there? And that's what we've been doing with the students lately. We've been giving them and refocusing their purpose. All the movements that they already know how to do, that they could do very choppy, very erratic, where they're not 100% sure what they should be doing at any given moment. And we dispel that by changing the focus of what they're trying to accomplish to an actual goal. So they're not thinking about all those other things, but rather their bodies just happen to do it. Now, that only comes about if we had spent the time to get the students to understand those concepts, not the repetition. That, over time, they're going to get it. It's going to get refined. It's going to take time, but if they get the reason behind it, the why, and internalize that, then it becomes part of their natural movement. Then they can start exploring what they're capable of doing by focusing on the goals and not necessarily the drills. Or, wait, what did he say? He said it was, do it this way. None of that then matters, because in a real fight, you're not going to remember any of that. So what did you train in outside of that? What did you train before? What do you train afterwards? Is to accomplish something, to give a sense of direction where all your skill sets are going to be used at any given point. And that, as many instructors will say, takes this. It takes what goes on up here in order to be able to do those things. So, our teaching, the Bladed Mind Way's main purpose is to get students to learn, to understand. Now, what does this look like physically? Rick, would you mind joining me and giving a bit of an example?
I really wasn't trying to take a shot. I was just, because you
Uh-huh.
were late.
Oh, okay.
I didn't want to disappoint. I wanted to make sure we had something going just in case you did not show up.
You know these are pre-recorded, right?
Oh, yeah. Huh? My bad. Maybe a little loud. Maybe just a little. All right, so purpose is what you're talking about today.
Yes.
And a lot of times, let's say if we wanted to hit a target,
Mm-hmm.
your head in this instance,
It's a large head.
you're not going to let me hit your head.
I'd be stupid to.
You'd be stupid, right? So when I'm throwing my stuff, you would
I'm
automatically,
gonna go.
you do whatever you do,
Right.
right? But if my purpose is to hit your head,
Mm-hmm.
do I let what you do interfere with what I do?
You shouldn't.
only to the extent of maybe blocking it or getting it out of the way or whatever I have to do.
Acknowledging it.
Acknowledging it and then continuing on to my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Right? It isn't that we have a purpose but we can't get to it and we leave. Oh, forget it, I can't get
Yeah,
it.
it's too hard.
Right? But the other part of that is because you're not cooperating and you're going to stop everything I do by throwing what you do to me, it makes it a little more difficult.
I would hope so.
But if we stay to our purpose, then once things free up and we continue to go to that purpose, then we're going to get there.
And I want to point out something. It's not just mindlessly heading towards the same direction while getting hit. It is really taking into account and understanding what's going on. If my purpose is to hit his face, I just hit his face. But if he takes care of something, then I need to move and do something else. And again, I don't have the time to think, should I go left? Should I go right? Oh no, his stick went that way. Well, it makes more sense for me to go this way. But you don't have time to think about those things.
Not at all.
You can only trust that your training is enough to get you there.
Okay, well, let's explore, right?
Okay.
Just free flow,
All right?
right? All right. So, believe it or not, that was not choreographed. And I purposely tapped him in those areas. And I'll tell you why.
Knee, elbow, crown of my head.
And he didn't know I was going to do this. Read that up for me, would you?
Seriously?
Seriously. Go ahead, read it off.
Right knee, left elbow, headshot.
Yeah. What did I do?
In that order. I'm not kidding. I saw him off camera walk somewhere, and he started writing something down in a little yellow piece of paper, or folded piece of paper, and he put it in his pocket. He even took it out at one point behind camera and checked it and laughed at himself. Now I know why.
I had purpose. Wow. He wasn't going to give those to me. He couldn't know what I was trying to do.
Not at all.
He did whatever he did. But systematically, I went through my list. Unbeknownst to him. And I gave him a little bit of it so that he could actually acknowledge that that was the secret.
I would have acknowledged it anyways. No. Damn it, I don't lie.
I wanted the camera to know too.
Do you guys feel my pain? Do you guys feel my tongue?
What does this say? That we do exactly
what we say we're going to do.
And now you can continue your thing because now you've proven the ideas, or at least we've shown that this is what we
He
do.
proved it. I was just the unexpected recipient of it.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
You. Wow. All right, guys. So just before we get back on topic, I just want to point out, I've been training with Rick for nearly 8 years now. And periodically, to prove a point, like today, he has done things like this. It's a very memorable moment a couple years ago where he said, you see that mark on the floor over there? I'm going to put you there. He said that flat out without any irony or anything in his voice. Just matter of fact, I'm going to put you there. And I fought him tooth to nail, making sure that I even turned us around. So I wasn't even in the direction of that spot. And lo and behold, I got dropped. And he said, look, I looked down, the very same spot he said he was going to put me in. He does this. But again, if he can't do what he's teaching me to do, would I believe it? Would it make sense? Part of being an instructor is not just knowing what you know, but knowing your capabilities. How well can you use the things that you have under your belt in your studies at any given point? Because if that's what you want your students to accomplish, if that's your purpose as an instructor, then you need to be able to show it. And he did so beautifully just earlier today, or a few moments ago rather. The clarity of what you're trying to accomplish is very important. And again, it's not a mindful, I'm just going to keep going forward until I get it, but it's to understand when you're able to get them. When are you able to insert those things? And it takes time, and it takes building an arsenal, not necessarily of skills, but of ideas and concepts to understand not just yourself, but the person in front of you, the environment, and everything else that is involved in a chaotic situation that is a fight. Because you don't have time to think of those things in the moment. And before that, you only have enough time to make a decision. I'm going to plow through this person and make it home alive. And as long as that is solidified in your mind, your body will do everything it can and everything it knows to accomplish that task. And that's the purpose of training. And in the Bladed Mind, our purpose is to aid that training, the learning process. So we can do things like Rick just did, and I feel like a fool. I don't know about you guys, but that at this moment I'm still in a little bit of shock, so I can't really laugh too much about it, but eventually I'm going to crack up because he wrote that list prior to this video. I watched him do it, and then he proved it. So, I leave you with this. What is the purpose of your training? How deeply have you thought about the concepts that you have learned? Have you only worked on the physicality of things, or do you truly understand the nature of what it is you're capable of doing? Again, they're just thoughts, ideas. This is how me and the other Bladed Mind practitioners think about things. Because we strive to understand ourselves so we can better understand everything that's going on around us. And hopefully, we'll never have to use them, because we'll see things coming long before it gets to that point. But if we do get to that point, we have a very clear mind on what our purpose is and what we're willing to do to accomplish it. So, thank you for joining me on here another one of Nain's Shorts. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Share with your friends, please. It helps us out a lot. Till next time. 3, 2, 1, cut!